Hey guys, what's up? It's Kat here. Before I begin, I just want to say I'm sorry for a lack of videos lately. I am currently filming this in Italy! I am studying abroad for 6 weeks, so if there's like inconsistent uploads, that's why. Please bear with me, but yes, of course, today's topic is going to be the Game of Thrones finale. Goes without saying, if you haven't watched it, don't watch this unless you've already had things spoiled for you, which at this point it's inevitable if you check Twitter or Instagram because it's just exploding all over the place. I think I need to get it out of the way that every episode of this season I enjoyed while watching it. Like I would watch each episode and finish like excited for the next one. Like and my jaw was dropping for the entire Battle of Winterfell. Like there was never an episode where I watched it and then was not satisfied. Like, I never sat looking at my computer like, that was horrible, or like, I was never frustrated. But then you log on to social media and you see, like, the full reaction from, like, the rest of the world, and that kind of taints my view a little bit in a way. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm not too picky. I did not read the books, I should say that. So, like, I don't have any expectations or any way that I wanted it to go. And as I've mentioned like a bajillion times, I'm terrible at like predicting things, and I try not to have like mega expectations because I know that just sets me up for failure if I want something to happen and it goes completely the other direction. And so for this season, I mean, I was highly anticipating it, but I had literally no clue at all how I could have even thought to end this. And I think that's what we have to acknowledge, like without the guidance of George R.R. Martin, with no books to reference, this story is so intricate that there could have been a million ways for it to all just like go down. No matter what route you pick, you're not gonna please the entire fandom, which is millions of people. It's one of the biggest fandoms in the world. It's gained so much momentum. People are going to be let down. The fan base is definitely divided, but I think this final episode, a lot of people really wanted like a miracle to happen that would save the show. And I don't feel like the show was ruined. I do feel a little bit upset about some things, which I'll talk about, but I don't think Game of Thrones is not ruined for me forever. If anything, like the way that season 8 played out, it's just going to give me such a different perspective of everything that happened from season 1 through 7. So yeah, let's just get into it. I think my main qualm with this episode, or just this season in general, was Daenerys dying. Everyone had predicted that either she or Jon was gonna get it, and I just did not want it to be her. I was still on Team Daenerys even after episode 5. She's been one of my favorite characters for the entirety of the show, and I just felt like I had wasted my life from like my freshman year of high school until now, rooting for her, like wanting her to get to Westeros, and there was this like bittersweet feeling when she finally was face to face with the Iron Throne. It's like, this is the reason I've been watching the show all this time. Like, this is what I have dedicated hours of my life to. And then it's over within the next minute for her. That was emotional for me. I do think though that she had like a good send off. Like I was getting emotional when like Drogon picked her up and like carried her out into the clouds. I did think that was like a good farewell for her. I'm sure people thought it was stupid. I'm sure people thought it was predictable. It certainly was. Her embrace with Jon, and we kind of saw it coming, but I just didn't think it could be real. So that in a way like will make it bittersweet for me watching the show all the way through again. It's gonna be sad like seeing Daenerys, all of her development, and just knowing what actually happens. Like, once you know the ending, it really does change the way that you watch a movie or a TV show. And like, you can rewatch it thinking, hopefully it ends differently, you know? But then it's just like, ugh. Yeah, that was my biggest, that was the most emotional for me during the episode. That was really big. I'm really glad Jon didn't die. I think that really just would have been overkill if both he and Daenerys, like the two, well, Daenerys used to be protagonists of the show, if they both died in the same episode. Overall, I was really skeptical about how they were going to go about like tying everything together with an hour and 20 minutes left. Going into the episode, like my heart was pounding. Like I just had no idea how they were going to wrap things up. And again, there were so many routes they could have taken or ways they could have done it, and whatever they choose is not going to please everyone. But I feel satisfied with that ending. Like, knowing that I'm never going to see another new episode of Game of Thrones ever again, like, I feel satisfied with the way that it left off. I really had no idea how they were going to conclude or provide some closure, but I loved that Stark children, like, montage at the end there. That felt, like, very new for the show, like, that montage with the Winterfell theme playing. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a good, like, send-off, and it, like, leaves them in like a state of closure. Of course, everyone wants like a new Arya series now, but I was pleased to like see them all like go their separate ways, but like have closure to this chapter of their lives. And I do think it hurt to see Jon go back to the Night's Watch. I think everyone wanted him to sit on the throne, but I think that would have been too predictable. I will say, Brandon Stark has never been my favorite character. I don't want to say I hate him, but he's just, like, I would have been fine if he passed away this season. Like, it was just not, he did nothing these past few seasons, really, other than stir up trouble by admitting to Jon who his true parents were.
That really enraged me.
I had no predictions for who I thought was going to sit on the Iron Throne besides the Night King before he bit the dust. So at that point, I really didn't know who I wanted to be the king of the Seven Kingdoms or the queen, but I just...
Anybody but Bran.
I'm sure a lot of other people are mad about that because he's literally just been not doing anything lately this season. But I guess, you know, this was his big role. I was pleased with how Tyrion's story ended. I mean, his character finally, like, it was like back to the OG Tyrion, which was really cool to see. Overall, yeah, I thought that this episode, I think, was really... See, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, but then I go on, like, social media or YouTube and I see other people's rants and it's just like, oh, like, am I in the wrong? And I just want to say, like, you're not in the wrong if you're one of the few people who think that this was a good season. It's Game of Thrones, I love it, I'll stand by it. Like, I was pleased with the season. Do I think it could have been 10 episodes instead of 6? Certainly. I think that would have been so much better. Things wouldn't have felt so rushed. Like, I think it would have just been a better segue into, like, easing us into Dany's downfall. Like, that was the hardest part for me. I didn't like to see her die. Because that, for me, was like, well, I've just wasted the past few years of my life. So that's good. I overall was pleased with it, and I was very curious to see what the final scene of Game of Thrones was going to be. And I was really glad that it was Jon and Tormund leading the wildlings, like, back into the forest, because I feel like that kind of ties in with, like, how the show begins. Season 1, Episode 1, the men from the Night's Watch going into the forest, and at that time it was this dark and dangerous, crazy, mysterious place. We didn't know what White Walkers were yet. We just knew that if you went into the forest, you were gonna die. So I thought that was, like, a very nice, like, circle closure. I was happy that Tormund lived, and I was happy that Jon lived, and that he at least got to, like, I don't know, go back to where he, like, belongs. I don't know. I'm not a professional critic. I just wanted to, like, sit down and get my thoughts out because this is the end and I already have a void inside me. Maybe as I, like, rewatch the whole show in its entirety, I'll feel different about season 8, but we'll see. Let me know what your thoughts were on this season or any particular episodes. Like I said, I thought every episode I was satisfied, and I don't hate the way it ended, so I don't know. Yes, of course, let me know your opinions, my fellow Game of Thrones fans. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say, because I'm sure the fan base is even more divided after that episode, that finale. But yes, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, I would say winter's coming, but winter's gone. Winter is rip. Oh, it's so sad. Hope you're all doing well. As always, I guess I'm just gonna go back to my usual phrase now. May the force be with you. always, and hopefully I'm gonna try to get on a little maybe schedule while I'm here in Rome. I don't want to go the whole 6 weeks not posting anything. Might post some like vlog things maybe if you'd be interested in that. They might be terrible, but you don't know until you try. Alright guys, until next time, I'll see you guys. Bye.